Hello and welcome to my virtual college counselor channel. Glad to have you here with us today. Now today, this session is mostly for the seniors. If you're in maybe the 11th grade or 10th grade, you probably still want to just tune in and just get some information. However, this session is dedicated to my 12th grade seniors and parents. So if your parents are near you, please get your parents to come on and view and listen in to this financial aid workshop. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Is a financial this is going to be a financial aid workshop today. And also, I just want to take a minute to welcome all, if we have any Haitian audience out there, we parle Creole, parlant, sou gen ti moun ki gen nan 12th grade, ou ka chita ave yo pou wè ki jon ou ka jwen informasyon pou financial aid. And basically, I'm going to be going over the whole financial aid application. I do speak a little Spanish too, so if we have some Spanish parents out there or Hispanic students, I welcome you here as well. Yo hablo un poco de español, so come on in, padres and estudiantes, you all can come on in and just get some of this information that I'll be providing today. Like I said, this is going to be our financial aid workshop. So students, if you're in the 12th grade and you haven't filled out your financial aid application, you need to go ahead and start that now. That's critical. If you know you want to go to college, you're going to need some aid. You want to do the financial aid application. Definitely want to do it. Even if you're not sure what you want to do. If, say, you're not sure if you want to go to college, you don't know what you want to do after graduation, it's not going to hurt to just complete the application anyway. So I do recommend that you go ahead and just fill out the application. You'll have it here. If you change your mind on what school you want to attend or whatever have you, you can always go back and make corrections to your FAFSA. So the FAFSA is free application for federal student aid. Quote, free. Very important. When you go online, you want to make sure you get on the right website. You want to go to either fafsa.gov or fafsa.ed.gov. Now, if you make a mistake and go to fafsa.com, the application will come up and it will allow you to fill out that application. However, at the end of that application, they will ask for a fee. You shouldn't have to pay for the FAFSA. It's a free application. So if you're on that website.com, you want to get out of that website. If you're on FAFSA.org, you want to get out. You want to make sure that you're on FAFSA.ed or FAFSA.gov. Okay? Now, a couple of things. I made a list. So a couple of things that you're going to have to do. First thing, before you even start filling out the application, before you sit down and get in front of the application, you want to make sure you have some documents with you. So the first thing you're going to need is an ID. Now, if your parent isn't with you, it's okay, because there's a section for the parents. So the parents can fill out the FAFSA later, so that won't be a problem. But what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get a FAFSA, FSA, federal student aid ID, a federal student aid ID. It just takes maybe 4 minutes. You'd want your parents to go in and get their ID. You go in and get your ID. So if your parent want to go ahead and on their own time, if they want to fill out their part, they can do that. And if you want to start the FAFSA on your own, you can go ahead and start the FAFSA, and you have your ID and you have your parents' ID too. Get a notebook. If you're a senior, you know you want to go to college, just have a notebook. Title it whatever you want to, college notebook or college prep or whatever you want to title it. But have a notebook, because you're going to be getting a lot of passwords and just some things that you want to just jot down. And you want to keep them together, because you don't want to go fishing for, password or this or different things. So have everything together. That way it'll just keep you organized. Now, You get you'll have your parent to go online, go to the website, Federal Student Aid website. Remember, is or FAFSA.gov. You FAFSA.gov or FAFSA.ed.gov. Very important. Okay, now once you've gone in and you get your FAFSA ID, have your parents to have your FAFSA ID, write it down in your notebook, the ID number. So you're gonna need that, okay? You're gonna need that later on. So you write down your ID number and you have that, okay? The next thing you wanna do before you even sit down and start your FAFSA, you're gonna make sure you have your social security number. You need your social security number. So make sure you have that number, okay? You need your driver's license. So make sure you have your driver's license with you. Again, you want to be organized. You want to have everything there with you. So once you start the application, you can just continue on, okay? Previous taxes. This is March. We're kind of late even with FAFSA, but this is March. It's never really too late, but you can start filling out the FAFSA as early as October from the previous year. You can start that early. However, you will need your taxes. So we're going to be going over the 2021 FAFSA form. So therefore, you're going to need your 2020 taxes. Students, if you worked last year, you're going to need your taxes or your income information, either one. If your parents worked last year, they're going to need a copy of their taxes with them as well to fill out the application. Now, if they have not yet completed their taxes for 2020, that's fine. It's not a problem. They can always just fill in some information and go back and just make corrections afterwards, okay? So no biggie. But if you have it, just get your parents' tax paperwork and you can have yours. Or if your parents have theirs, when it's their turn to go on and fill in their information, they'll be able to fill in their information. But if you worked, again, you're going to need yours as well. So you're going to do that. Any other income that you receive, you're going to need that. If you receive any Social Security benefits, you're going to need that. Okay, child support. If you receive child support from the courts or whatever have you, you're going to need that as well. Veteran benefits, maybe if your parents are vets, you're going to need their vet benefit information as well. Assets, any bank accounts, real estate property, any investment, you're going to need to have all that information. So if your parents have any type of assets, make sure you jot all that down, their savings account, how much they have in the savings account. Yeah, you're going to have to report all that, okay, on your FAFSA, okay? All right, now the last thing that you're going to need is the schools that you're interested in. So you're going to need to make a list of all the schools that you're interested in. You may not know where you're going, okay? You probably haven't even applied yet. If you haven't, you need to start applying as well. We'll get to that. That's for another video. But as for now, it doesn't matter. You can actually list, I believe it's up to like 6 or 8 schools. So if you say you want to go to start maybe a community college or whatever college, or a college out of state, just write down the name of the colleges that you're interested in. So there's going to be an area where you're going to list the colleges that you're interested in. So have your list ready. Again, it's just about being organized. So have your list ready, and you're going to just put down the schools. And again, even with that, if you change your mind, if you don't, if there's another school that you're interested in going later on, you can always go back and make corrections. So that's not a biggie. All right. So when you're applying for financial aid, very important, just to know, just to know what you're applying for. You are actually applying for grants, certain scholarships. You're applying for work-study program and loans, parent loans, student loans. You're applying for all of that when you fill out the FAFSA. Okay, so you definitely want to go ahead and get that in early. Get it to the schools, because some schools have other grants as well. And the sooner that you can fill out the FAFSA application, the better it is for you. So you want to go ahead and get your application in. Now, I'm going to actually go over the entire application with you so you can kind of get an idea of what you need to do. And if you have any questions after you watch this video, just go ahead and just type in your questions to me, and I'll respond. If I'll respond next week with my next video that's coming out, I'll go ahead and respond to your questions. So if you have any questions, parlant sur des questions de financial aid là pour, just send me un message, voyez un message pour moi, la fin m'a répondre. Okay, that was in Creole. Okay, now. When I said tax return, I'm just going to give you like a copy. This is just a sample, really, of a tax return from your parents. All right. So your parents should have this. If you worked and you fill out taxes, you should have this as well. This is a 1048. They may have filled out a 1048. This is a 1040. Yeah, there's a 1048, 1040 EZ. So it doesn't matter, because what you're going to be doing, you're going to be getting information. They're going to specifically tell you what line to get the information from, and you're going to get that information from that line, and you're going to actually put it on your financial aid form. Okay. Now let's begin our financial aid, the actual form. All right, I have it right here in front of me. So I'm just going to be going down so that parents, you know what you need to do, you know what's expected of you, and students, you know what to do as well. Okay, so you're going to go online, you're going to bring up the application. By then you would have already had your student ID and your parent ID. Both of you have your ID, so you're ready to go. Now this is also when you click on, you're filling out for the 2020-2021 FAFSA. That's what you're applying for. So it actually covers the fall until next year's summer, 2021 summer. So when you fill out the 2020 application, and I'm going to stop for a minute. If you know you want to start school during the summer, okay, before the fall, once you graduate, you want to start college that summer, what you need to do is, in addition to filling out the 2021, you're going to also need to fill out the 2019-2020 FAFSA as well. That's going to allocate funds for you for the summer. So if you know you want to start school this summer, you're going to need that. And for that application, you're going to need your parents' 2019 tax forms. Okay? I hope you're with me. Again, if you have any questions, just feel free to just send me a message and I'll respond to your question. Okay? Now for the FAFSA. Okay. The first part of the form, it just asks you for general questions, your name, your address, social security number. Remember I told you you needed to have your social security number. So make sure you put in your social security number. And all this information is about the student. Okay? Driver's license, if you drive. Even if you don't drive, if you have a permit or ID, you can put your information here. That's the first part of the application. All right, then we're going to go down, and you should have this information. If you don't, you can ask your parents, and ask about your parents, the highest school completed by your parents, and you just check whether it's high school, middle. Listen here, it doesn't matter. If your parents went to college, awesome. If their first time, if they never went to college or what, that's fine. If they only finished high school, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and click high school or whatever the highest level of education your parents completed. I've heard that, if you're a first time generation college student, you tend to get more money, but we don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, you want to go ahead and just indicate whether, and if you don't know, you just put unknown, college or beyond, high school or whatever they completed. Okay. You want to go ahead and do that. Then we're going to move on to the next section. And the next section is asking you, what is the name of the high school where you received your high school diploma? So even if you haven't received it, most of you, if you're seniors, of course, you haven't received your high school diploma yet. So for this section, what you're going to do is you want to make sure you check never attended college, first year undergraduate. Okay? If you're a senior, you want to make sure you put never attended college, first year undergraduate. That's the box that you're going to bubble in. Okay, and then on the side for number 30 is asking you about this. What degree or certificate will you be working on when you begin college? For that question, you want to check first bachelor's degree. Now, even if you're attending a 2-year college, that's fine. You're still working towards your first bachelor's degree. So you want to check the box that says first bachelor's degree. Okay? All right. Now, moving on. That's for number 29 and 20. We're going to move on. And number 31, you don't want to miss that. Now, number 31 is asking you, are you interested in considering for work, being considered for work study? That means if while you're in college, you want to earn some money to help towards your, paying for your school or whatever have you. You want to put yes. You want to check yes on that box. So what that does is when you check yes, it will, if you qualify, it will allocate, if your school has jobs, then that qualifies you to actually work on campus. You can get like maybe a few hours a week, and they tend to work around your schedule. So it's a good thing if you know you need some money and you want something flexible, you can work, you can apply, you can try to find a job at the school. And that way, you don't have to worry about your hours clashing in with your classes, etc. They'll be able to work around your schedule, your class schedule. And the funds will be made available for you as well. So if you're interested in that, you want to check yes. If you're not sure, check yes. Anyway, your parents probably want you to do that anyway. So just go ahead and do that. All right, once you check yes for work study program, you're going to go to step 2. All right, step 2, it's for the students. Let's see. Okay, this is where your taxes come in. Now, step 2 is for the students, not your parents. So make sure you pay attention to that. When you get to step 2, is if you worked and you filled out a 1040 easy, and also I'm going to pause on that a minute. Parents, students, if you work and had a part-time job or worked only a few hours, your parents can still claim you. Okay, so sometimes, if you work, you feel that you can't fill out a 1040, like say, for example, they took out maybe $100, $200 federal taxes, and you feel that, hey, if you get that $200, it's going to affect your parents' tax return. It will not. Okay, you can fill out your taxes. It will most likely be a 1040 easy. So you can go ahead and fill out your taxes, get your little refund back. It might be $50, it might be $100, $200, whatever have you. For the 1040 easy, there's a line that asks you if someone else can claim you. All you have to do is put yes, and they'll know your parents can claim you. But you can put yes. But if you work and you want to get your federal taxes that were withheld, if you want to get that back, go ahead and file for your taxes. 1040 easy, you can file for your taxes and you can get those funds back. Okay, so you want to do that. Go ahead and fill it out. And so you will have your tax return with you. And say if you worked and you just don't even have your taxes yet, that's fine too. If you just found out that you can file and you say, okay, I'm going to file next week or whatever have you, go ahead and still fill this out. Because it asks you, have you already completed your return? If you have, of course, just go ahead and check that box. If you haven't, just put, I will file, but have not yet filed my return. So if now that you know that you can file, if you decide you want to file next week or tomorrow, just go ahead and circle that. I will file my return. But I have not filed it yet. So you want to check that. And even with that, you should have gotten a W-2 from your job. Okay. And that's what you file your tax return with the W-2. So if you've gotten your W-2 from your job, okay, and you haven't filed yet, what you want to do is look at box number 1. It shows you what you made last year, that box number 1. So what you want to do is you're going to, again, if you haven't filed, you're going to go ahead and click I will file, which is fine. Okay. And it's number 36 will ask you, what was your gross income? And you want to put your gross income. Again, that would be the number from box number 1 on your W-2. If you worked and you filled out your income tax return, then if you look at the question number 36, it actually tells you what line to get that information from. So what you're going to do is from number 36, you're going to take your tax return. Say you're a student, right? And you're going to look at, you filled out a 1040 EZ. So you're going to look at line 4, which is here. You're going to go look at your tax return. You're going to actually go to line 4. It's numbered. And whatever number that you have on line 4 is the number that you'll put here. Okay. Now, if you're in high school and you're married, it tells you what to do too. So you're going to be putting this information for you and your spouse. Okay. You have to report your spouse's information. But most seniors aren't married. So we're just going to assume today that you're not married. Okay. And we're going to go on. All right. So once you've done that, number 37, the question asks, enter your income tax for 2020. It's going to tell you to enter your income tax for whatever year it tells you. Okay. Now, what you're going to do, again, all you have to do is look at the line. It provides the line for you. If you look at your 1040 EZ, it tells you to go to line 10. So you're going to look at your tax return, 1040 EZ, and you're going to go to line 10. And you're going to take the amount that's on line 10, and that's the amount that you're going to put on your financial aid for. Gotcha. Got it? Okay. Good. Now you're going to continue on and answer the questions. How much did you earn from work? Okay. It's usually the same thing. Whatever's on box 1 is the same thing. It's what you earn. Okay. How much did your spouse earn? We're not doing spouses because we're going to assume everybody's single. All right. So we're not going to do a spouse. And as of today, what is your total current balance or cash savings? So if you have a bank account, you're going to need to put your information here. Now, if you have a joint account with your parents, you want to just leave that 0 and just put it because your parents will have to answer these same questions too. So you can just, if you have a joint account, you don't want to put it here and then put that amount again when the parents get ready to put the parents' information. So just leave that blank for now. Just put 0 for now. And when your parents report it, they'll report the amount that you have. But whatever you have for savings, you need to indicate it here. Indicate the total amount you have in your savings account and total amount you have in your checkings account. Okay. Remember, again, if you have a joint account with your parents, you want to put 0 for here. And just when your parents do theirs, they'll go ahead and put that. Okay. So moving on. And as of today, this is the last question on that section. It says, as of today, what is the net worth of your investment business? Some of you may have started a business, at a young age, and you have a business and you have a net worth. Is asking you for that. So you have to provide that information. So whatever your business is worth, you want to go ahead and indicate it on that. Okay. Moving on. All right. Financial aid, education credits. Okay. Now, this section right here is asking you some information about additional financial information. All right. So if this doesn't apply to you, for seniors, for the most part, it probably won't. Maybe next year, once you've gone to school for a year, this may apply to you. So it may not apply to you now. So, you just put 0. If it doesn't apply to you, put 0, because it's asking you about education credits. Again, if this is your first year, you probably didn't have any type of education credits or anything like that. So that'll be automatically a 0 for you. All right. And child support. This is where if child support paid because of divorce. So if your parents got divorced and you're receiving child support, you can go ahead and put that there. Okay. Put that amount there. And again, like I said, just be careful because a lot of these questions will be asked for the parents. So if your mom or your dad, whoever received, one of your parents received the child support, you can go ahead and let them put that amount there. So you can just put 0. But you don't want to put an amount here for you and that you received, and then when your parent fills out their portion, they put that same amount, because that's going to be like double. So just be careful about that. So if your parent received the child support, let your parent go ahead and put that on their section. So you can just put 0. Taxable earning, anything like if you work, again, if you're a senior, you didn't work last year for federal student aid, so you're going to put 0s for this, okay? So for the most part, all this section will be 0s if you're a senior. Next year, once you've started college, then that'll be different. But for now, you want to put, it's going to be 0s for you. All right, and we're going to move on. Untaxed income, okay? Payments, deferred pension saving plan, IRA. Okay, these are some of the questions they're asking if you have an IRA account. If you have one personally, you're gonna have to put that. Again, if it's your parents, you want to let your parents put that information in. We don't want to put your information in there and then your parent put the same information for their part, and then it's counted twice. So just kind of pay attention to those questions. All right, so it asks you IRA. If you know you didn't have an IRA, or your parents didn't have an IRA, you're just going to put 0 on that and just keep going. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep moving down to step 3, okay? Now with step 3, answer the questions. This is a yes or no, okay? And basically, if you need to provide parent information, once you answer yes to the question, just skip. Okay, so make sure you pay attention to that. So it asks you, were you born before January 1st, 1996? Okay, yes or no. As of today, are you married? You have to answer yes or no. Okay, are you currently serving on active? If you're a senior, you're most likely it's going to be no. The active with the armed forces is asked. That's a question that's asking about the armed forces. So if you're a senior, then most likely it's no. So you would put no. Are you a veteran? No. Okay. Do you have or will have children? If you have children that you take care of, then you want to put yes. If you don't have any children, will probably be most of you, then you want to put no. All right. Okay. And at this time, since you turned age 13, were both of your parents deceased? Now this is important. Because if both of your parents are deceased, there is special funding for you. So if your father passed away, your mom passed away, or you're adopted, so you definitely want to indicate that, because there's special funding for you. So you want to make it known, okay? So this question asks about that. Does anyone or parent, step-parent, legal guardianship determined by a court or state? Okay, if you're appointed by the court or state, again, you want to indicate whether you were or weren't. Yes or no. Okay, and at any time after July 1st, did the director of any emergency shelter or housing program, so you want to make sure you read those carefully, housing program funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, determined that you were an unaccompanied youth who was homeless. So if you are homeless, you want to just go ahead and say yes. This is nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, you're applying for funds for your school. So if that was your situation, you want to be honest and just state what your situation is, so that you can get the funding that you should get. Okay. And at any time, did the director of a runaway homeless, just asking if you were runaway or homeless. So you just answer those questions accordingly. And if it's not you, of course, you just put no. All right. Moving down, this is the section for your parents. Okay. So basically the same questions they just asked you, these are the same questions they're going to be asking your parents. All right. And this section is the parents need to answer. Your parents, or this you just leave that for your parents to answer. But if you have that information, and if your parent is next to you, go ahead and fill it out. If you have your parents' information, that they gave you their taxes and everything, and you know how to fill it, just go ahead and do that. If not, then your parent can go ahead and fill that out. All right. Parlons en section pour remplir pour ti moun yo. Sou poko faire taxe pour année ça, faire taxe là parce que vous besoin d'informations dans taxe pour your plan pour financial aid. So, sou connaît ti moun wale dans collège, try pour voir sou ka plan taxe parce que vous besoin d'informations dans taxe là pour financial aid. Okay? All right, all right. That's for my Haitian parents, y'all. I have to take care of my Haitian people as well. Okay, and listen here. If I need to do a section in Spanish, I will learn whatever I need to, and I can say a few words too if I need to. Just let me know. Reach out to me. Let me know what your needs are, and I'll try to accommodate them accordingly. All right. So now, this section for your parents, they're gonna need their tax return. Get your tax return. Have your tax return. It's gonna ask you if you're married, if you're divorced. You just need information for one parent. So if your parents are separated, decide whose paid information you're going to be using, whether it be whoever you live with, your mother or your father. Just get that information, and that's what you're going to use. Okay, you just need information for one parent. If they're married, then that's fine as well. But you just need the Social Security for one parent. You decide which one you want to use, and that's the one you go with. Okay, because it's going to ask you for your parents' Social Security number, if their marital status, if they're single. You want to go ahead and indicate that their Social Security number. You're going to have to put that in there. And the good thing too, if you don't, you're going to need to get some information from your tax return to put in here. But also, when you get towards the end, it's going to actually allow you to go in, and they will pull your parents' tax return. So you don't have to send copies or anything like that. So make sure whatever you're putting in here is accurate, because at the end, they will ask you to pull your parents' tax return. And once they pull it up, of course, they're going to match up what's on the tax return with what you're putting in there. So make sure you're getting that information from their taxes. You're not just guessing, okay? Yes, so you're going to go ahead and put in their name, their Social Security number, and all that other good stuff, email address. They ask for that as well. Okay, and then they ask how many people in the household that your parents take care of. You include your parents and whoever siblings, even if they're not siblings. If you have your cousins that lives with you and they take care of them, you want to put that on there. You want to, whoever lives that your parents take care of in that household, you want to put that number on there. Usually, that number matches up the number that's on your tax form. But if it doesn't, that's fine. That's fine. Say on your taxes your parents have 3. However, there are 7 of you in the house. That's just an example. There are 7 of you in the house. You want to go ahead and put that 7. Okay. It asks you how many people in the household. You want to put how many people your parents take care of. Okay. So you want to do that. All right, so again, they're going to get all of this information from their tax return. It tells them exactly what line. If they filled out, most of them, if they did their taxes electronically, they have a 1040. Some people have 1040As, but for the most part, they have a 1040. So it tells you exactly what line to go to, and whatever information is on that line, that's the number that you're going to put on your financial aid form. Okay, and if it's a 1040 that your parents has, then you use whatever line for the 1040. If it's a 1040A, then you look at the line for the 1040A. It tells you what line, and you're going to take that number and you're going to put that number in there, okay? So, all right, so you're going to go ahead and do all that. And then it also asks you what income tax did they fill out, okay? Again, please just look at the top. It tells you if it's a 1040, it will say 1040. If it's a 1040A, it will say 1040A. If it's a 1040 EZ, which would be the student, it's a 1040 EZ. So you want to look at the form, okay, number, and that's what you check. You check that exact form that they filled out. Okay, now, and then it asks you for the status. The status is right here on the form, So you look at the form, you look at your parents' tax form, and it says right here, filing status, single, married, filing joint, head of household. You just look up here. Whatever's checked, that's what you check over here. Okay? So again, you're just taking the information from your tax return, and you're putting that information, that same information on your financial aid form. Okay? All right, so moving on. Once we've gotten all that information in there, all that good stuff, you move on. Now they're asking you for your gross income. Again, it tells you exactly what line to go to. Get the line, go to that line from your tax return and put that amount on your FAFSA form. Just that simple. All right. And then going down. How much did your parent work? Now, this may sound redundant because it's asking you how much did they make, and then it goes and asks you again. The reason it's asking you that twice is because not everybody fills out a tax return, okay? And so if you didn't fill out a tax return, you may have still earned some money, okay? And they want to know what you earned, whether it be unemployment, whether it be for whatever it is. They want to know what you made. So that's why they're asking it again. So you're going to put, if you worked and you have a FAFSA, you're going to put that amount on there. If you did not work, you still have to, again, you still have to indicate what you made for that year, for last year. So you want to go ahead and put that on there. And then if you look here, they're asking you about the educational credits. They're asking you about the child support. That's why I said if your parent pays child support, you just have to decide where you want to put it. If your parent received the child support and not you, let the parent put it. You don't want to put it on your side and then your parent put it on their side, and it seems like you have more money than you do. So just kind of be mindful of that. If your parent received the child support, they can go ahead and put it over here on the parent side. They'll put the child support. Same thing also with the bank account. Remember, if you share a bank account with your parent, just go ahead and let them put it. For your side, you'll put 0, and over here, they'll go ahead and put that. Social Security benefits, if your parents receive social benefits for you, let them put it. If you want to, if you get your own money and you want to report it, you can report it on your side. But if your parent receive it, let them go ahead and put it on their side. So it's going to ask them all of that, their bank account information, checking, savings, assets, businesses. They have to have businesses, investments. They'll have to report all that. Okay. Again, if they live in a home, if they ask for real estate property or something, if they live in a home, that's not considered an investment. Okay. You don't want to put any value there. If they live in that home and that's the only home they have, but if they live in that home and they have other real estate property, then you want to go ahead and put in the net value. But if it's their primary home and that's all that they have, that's not considered an investment. So you don't want to put anything there, okay? Alrighty, so moving on. Untaxed income, okay? This is where your other income comes in, such as what was it when you not working, unemployment. Okay, this is where you get to put all your untaxed income information. So whatever they receive, they have to go ahead and indicate it there. Okay. Housing, food, and living. Okay, if they get a special allowance for that, you go ahead and indicate it. But it's kind of, it actually tells you, it's self-explanatory. It tells you exactly what they're asking for. And if you have to think too hard about it, you don't receive it, just put 0. Okay, you don't want to make up an amount. If you don't receive, it's either you receive benefits or you don't. If they don't receive it, then it's 0. They don't have to worry about it. All right, we're moving on to step 5. Step 5. How many people are in your household, including yourself? Okay. So you want to go ahead and put them out there. How many people in your household? If it's 7, this is the one time you don't really have to worry about it. Because if you have 3 here, however, there are 7 people in your household, you want to put 7. Okay. Whatever amount of people that's in your household that, your parent take care of, you want to go ahead and put that number here. And how many people in your household will be in college coming up this fall? So if your parent is, going back to school for whatever reason, you want to include your parent. You want to include yourself, okay? And if you have other siblings that are already in college now, you want to include them as well, okay? So everyone who will be in college come August, you want to include them, okay? So you're going to put that number there, and then you're going to move on. It asks you, there's a question that asks you about supplemental Medicaid. If you're on Medicaid, you want to indicate that. Any type of supplemental assistance, if you receive that, you want to check that. If you qualify for free or reduced lunch, and you're in a public school system, yeah, you want to go ahead and check that. All right, if you receive temporary assistance, which is food stamps, anything like that, check that box. That's what it's asking you for. And any type of nutritional program like WIC, if your parent receive any WIC checks or anything like that, benefits, you want to go ahead and check that. Alrighty, now we're going to move on to step 6. Step 6 is where you're going to be putting your college information. It gives you up to 4 schools. So 4 schools of your choice. You should have a list of the schools. Okay. Now, all you have to do is go online. If you don't know the codes, that's okay. That's okay. If you go online, you can actually search, just put in the name of the school, type in the name of the school, whatever the school. For example, I'm going to put Florida International University, because that's the school that I graduated from. So you can put Florida International University, and it gives you their 6-digit code, okay? And you want to type in, it's just, you're going to click on whatever school it is. And you can list up to 4 schools. So go ahead and list those 4. Even if you're not sure, you don't have to be accepted to the school. But if you think, I might want to go here, or, I'm interested in the school, go ahead and just look it up and then get the codes, retrieve the codes, and it'll come here. Now, it's going to ask you for the state. It's also going to ask you whether you live on campus with parents or off campus, okay? You want to put, if you know you're going to be staying on campus, go ahead and click on campus, okay? If you're not going to be on campus, but you're just not sure whether you'll be living with your parents, because some students, some kids, when they graduate, they want to get their own apartment. So just go ahead and put off campus. If you're not sure you're going to be staying with your parents, you can just put off campus. If you know for sure you're going to be staying with your parents, you go ahead and click with parents. But and then if you're not sure you're going on campus, still put on campus, because you want to make sure that everything that you can possibly qualify for, that you have it. You don't have to use it, but at least it'll be there for you. Okay, so just go ahead and put in your schools. The codes will generate once you pick the school of your choice. The school code will generate for you, and you can have your 4 schools there. And again, at any given time, if you change your mind or you get accepted to another school, you can always go back, make a correction, and just add that school that you want, school of your choice. Alrighty, so moving on, step 7. This is where we sign, right? Yep. Step 7 is where we sign, and both you and your parent have to sign the FAFSA application. And that's the purpose of actually getting that student ID at the beginning. Remember, you have your student ID, so you're going to actually be signing with that ID. You're going to sign with that ID, and your parent is going to sign with their parent ID as well. So you're going to sign par si petit ou apply pour financial aid ou pour signer application, la fin yo pour signer application, okay? Nous tous les deux pour signer application. So your parent can go on at a later time if they're not there with you and sign the application, and that'll be fine. And remember, I told you earlier, there will be a question that's going to ask them to pull their income tax return. So they want to go ahead and check that box. And what FAFSA is going to do is they're connected to the IRS. So that's why you definitely want to make sure everything you put in there is accurate and correct. But they're going to pull your tax return from. And if you worked as a student, they're going to do yours too. They're going to pull your information, pull your tax return from the IRS, and they'll have that. So they'll compare that information with what you have here and determine what you're qualified for. And that's it. Now, the bottom question is, will ask you about if you paid someone to fill out that application. You can just kind of totally disregard that, because you're doing your own application. You're not paying anyone to do that for you. So that section you just totally disregard. You don't have to fill out anything with that. But once you've signed that application, your parent has signed that application, be sure to go ahead and submit. Okay? You want to go ahead and submit your application. Once you've submitted your application, you will receive confirmation from the federal, from the FAFSA office. that they've received your information. Okay, so and later on they will send you a student aid report. We can go over that student aid report later, and it tells you, it'll give you information, let you know what you qualify for. If your parent has to contribute to your school, they'll let you know what that amount is. But if you need information on that, we can definitely go over that. That can be another video where we actually touch on that on that information that you'll be getting. But in terms of filling out the FAFSA application, that's it. I've just gone through the whole entire application for you. If you have any questions, again, feel free, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to respond and assist you with your questions. And later on, we can, again, there's some more parts that's going to come to it. You're going to be receiving information from the schools. Again, you're going to be receiving your results from FAFSA. If you're uncertain on what to do, what you need to be looking for, shoot me a message and I will have a video and we'll touch on that and answer your questions. I hope this was useful for you. I hope this was beneficial. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking to you with the next video. And remember, we are going to go live in April. We're going to go live in April, and we want to just touch on just different things. Remember, we're not just doing colleges. If you're not interested in going to college, that's fine. We're going to see what some other options are after graduation. We just don't want you sitting around not doing anything. So if you don't want to go to college, or if you don't want to go to university after high school, we'll be talking about some other things that you can be doing as well. Some useful, productive things that can be done. So thank you again for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. And don't forget to share. I need you to share. If you know anyone in high school, if you know any seniors that can benefit from this video, please share this video with them so that they can understand the process of financial aid. Well, again, thank you and God bless.